Hey, what's up everyone? So it's official. I just released my first ever LUT pack, the Coastal LUTs. Now, honestly, this is kind of crazy to even think about. This has been years in the making. For years, I've had people DMing me saying, hey Josh, when are you gonna release your own presets? When are you gonna release your own LUTs? I just kind of brushed it off and said, hey, this is just not something I'm really focusing on right now. And honestly, that's just because I didn't feel like I had something I could offer the creative community. I didn't want to release LUTs just as like a cash grab or anything. I didn't want to release LUTs that I couldn't fully believe in. And honestly, I was pretty content with the workflow that I had at the time, just kind of applying someone else's LUTs, doing some quick tweaks and stuff, and I kind of made things work. But over the last 6 months, I've really been leveling up my color grading skills and really diving into color grading as a whole. And as I've been kind of embarking on this process of leveling up my color grading skills, I realized that I needed some LUTs to use for my own work that were super clean, super color accurate, and could be used on a variety of footage. I had a bunch of different LUTs that I was using. Some were wedding LUTs, others were commercial LUTs and brand LUTs, and my footage just never really felt cohesive. And so I had to do a lot of work to get all my footage all to the same place. And so what I really wanted out of a LUT pack was LUTs that were super clean, super color accurate, and could be used on a variety of different footage, from travel work to wedding work to brand and commercial work, and even personal projects around the house. And very long story short, that's what led to the development of this new LUT pack, the Coastal LUTs. One of the things I've always struggled with other people's LUTs is that I always felt I had to pull the opacity back on those LUTs to make them a little bit less intense. I feel like the LUTs that I tend to use aren't LUTs that I can just kind of slap on my footage at 100% and be happy with them. I always feel like I have to kind of put the LUT on, dial it back, and then kind of do a bunch of fixing of all the colors that LUT was kind of destroying, whether that was desaturating all the greens or changing certain colors. I've always felt like the LUTs that I used affected the footage too much. And I don't know if you're like me, but I spend so much time getting my colors right in camera, really dialing in my white balance and my exposure, and then to open that up in DaVinci Resolve or Premiere or Final Cut, put a LUT on it and have that just change all of my footage was really, really frustrating. So the first thing I set out to do with this LUT pack was to develop a LUT pack that was super clean and wouldn't affect the footage in a massive way. I really wanted to accentuate the colors of the footage that I already had in camera, the footage I've worked so hard to get where I had it. I wanted to accentuate those colors, but still kind of add like an artistic and cinematic flair to that footage. The second thing I really wanted to do with this LUT pack, as I've already mentioned, was I wanted to create a LUT pack that was super versatile across a variety of different footage types. There's a lot of LUT packs out there that are branded specifically towards travel filmmakers or documentary filmmakers, wedding filmmakers, vloggers, etc. But I haven't really found a LUT pack where I love applying those LUTs on all the types of footage that I shoot. And I shoot a lot of different types of footage. And so what I really wanted was a LUT pack that would just accentuate the colors that I work so hard to accomplish in camera and be able to be applied to a variety of different footage and have just a pretty easy workflow across the board. And after a lot of work developing these LUTs, I feel like the Coastal LUTs are a pack that does that very, very well. So a few quick details about the Coastal LUT pack just in general. So the LUT pack is comprised of 6 different LUTs. There's 4 color LUTs and 2 black and white LUTs. The 4 color LUTs are called Sunrise, Tidal, Blue Hour, and Sunset. And the 2 black and white LUTs are called B&W Clean and B&W Film. I'll dive into exactly what those LUTs are and what they do in just a minute. But effectively what I've done with this LUT pack is designed a variety of LUTs that can be used regardless of lighting situation, footage type, camera type, etc. Regardless of what you're trying to do, one of these LUTs should work on your footage. Also included in the Coastal LUT pack is a detailed PDF setup guide that has installation instructions for Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, and Final Cut Pro. And also in that guide is a 13-minute long editing breakdown using these LUTs where I show you how I color grade my footage using these LUTs and kind of give you some tips and tricks on how to use each one of these LUTs in your projects. So that's what's included in the Coastal LUT pack when you purchase it. Now what I want to do is step into DaVinci Resolve and show you some footage that I shot and how I can edit that footage using these LUTs. All right, so here we are in DaVinci Resolve with some test footage that I used to test out these LUTs, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start applying some of these LUTs to this footage. Now, a quick little disclaimer here. This footage is meant to be used post-log conversion, so if you are shooting in a log profile, make sure to convert that, whether you're using something like Color Space Transform in DaVinci Resolve, or a camera manufacturer or a third-party conversion LUT. These LUTs are not conversion LUTs in and of themselves, so you will have to make sure to do that conversion from log if you are shooting in a flat profile. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into some footage here. So here's a shot from a project I did down in Tulum in February, and this is just a couple in the jungle here in the Tulum forest, and I've just done the conversion here from log, and then from there, we're just going to start applying some LUTs. So what I want to do is kind of walk you through the different LUTs. So the first LUT in the pack is called Sunrise, and this LUT is meant to be super clean, provide some really great skin tones and some good contrast overall. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So that's with and without the Sunrise LUT. You can see it just really kind of accentuates the skin tones there, deepens up the blacks, really kind of brings out the color in the greens, but just like retains the skin tones really, really well while still providing some good contrast overall. Here's another example of some footage in the forest there in Tulum, and you can see this is just with the Rec 709 conversion, and then we apply the Sunrise LUT. You can see it just really brings out the tonality of the greens, really kind of just accentuates some contrast while still keeping some really accurate tonality across the board. The next LUT in the pack is called Tidal, and this LUT adds a lot of kind of mood and vibe to the footage. So here is some drone footage that I shot over the Oregon coast, and this is without a LUT applied. I've done a slight little exposure correction just because the footage was a little bit overexposed, but that's without the LUT applied, and then this is with the Tidal LUT applied. You can see it just adds a lot of kind of mood and vibe to the image, brings out a lot of those blues and greens, just accentuates those colors, softens the highlights just a little bit to give kind of overly contrasty drone footage a little bit more of a cinematic vibe. Here's another example of that again on the Oregon coast. This is without the LUT, and then with the LUT, you can see it just adds a lot of vibe to the shot. I also love using this on documentary and sports footage. Here's a clip from my friend Jordy, who released this documentary on the Muskegon Big Reds basketball team, and he sent me this clip to test out. Here's the converted clip right here, and then when we apply the Tidal LUT, I really love how this works with skin tones. So it still keeps some good skin tone representation here, but just adds a really cool kind of like green tint in the shadows, adds a little bit more mood overall, and it can be a really cool like vibey LUT to add to your footage. The third LUT in the pack is called Blue Hour, and as you can expect, Blue Hour adds a lot of blue tones in the image. I find this works super well on landscapes or to cool down really warm footage. So here's a shot of this plane landing over the Teton Mountains in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And this is just with the conversion, a little bit of exposure adjustments applied. And then here is the LUT off and the LUT on. So you can see that adds a lot of the blue tones in the mountains, adds some contrast, keeps the whites really clean, but really, really works well to bring out the blues in that image. Here's another shot out from Wyoming as well, and here's with and without the LUT. You can see it just really kind of adds the blues to the mountains there, kind of adds a cool teal vibe to the trees down in the shadows. Another fun way to use this LUT is to actually cool down really warm footage. And so you can see this clip here of that couple from Tulum. This is just a very warm shot overall. And if I wanted to add a little bit of a tonality contrast here, almost like a teal orange kind of vibe to the image, if we apply the Blue Hour LUT here, you can see it adds a little bit of subtle blues in the shadows while still retaining some really good skin tone. Here's before and after, before and after. So I really like using that LUT to kind of cool down overly warm footage. Here's one more example of some drone footage over the Oregon coast. This is with the Blue Hour LUT applied, and then without it, you can see it's a very, very warm shot overall, but then adding the Blue Hour LUT adds a little bit of those kind of teals in the midtones, really brings out the blues of the ocean and the clouds while still retaining some great tonality overall. The fourth LUT in the pack is called Sunset, and as can probably be expected, Sunset is a very warm LUT overall. So here's some footage I shot of this couple last year in the Pacific Northwest, and then we're going to apply the Sunset LUT. You can see it adds a lot of warmth to the shadows, to the skin tones, just brings some really nice warm vibes overall. Another great example of the Sunset LUT in action is this clip here. So this is before the LUT. And with the LUT, you can see it just really accentuates the skin tones and just provides this really nice golden glow to the entire clip. One more example here from the Tetons. This clip is a very cool clip tonally, so there's a lot of blues and greens. And if we apply the Sunset LUT to that, you can see it just kind of adds a little bit of warmth, still retains the tonality of the image, but just kind of warms things up just a little bit, gives it a nice subtle contrast without being overly done. And so I really like using this LUT when I'm trying to warm up cool footage or just really bring out some great creamy, warm skin tones. So those are the 4 color LUTs that are available in the pack. Then there's also 2 different black and white LUTs. The first one is called Black and White Clean. This is a luxury inspired black and white LUT, trying to give some really nice crisp whites and deep blacks without being overly contrasty. Just provides a really nice kind of clean black and white image. Here's another example if I apply that to this footage. Again, really nice kind of crisp whites and deep blacks without being overly contrasty. And then the other black and white LUT is called Black and White Film. And in contrast to the black and white clean LUT, this one is very moody and very vibey as a black and white. So if we apply that here, you can see it adds a cool like warm tint in the shadows, really kind of brings down the highlights, lifts the black a little bit, adds a really moody vibe overall. Here's that shot again using the black and white clean, and then we apply the black and white film. So that's black and white film, black and white clean. So obviously two very different vibes depending on what you're looking for. But again, I intended this LUT pack to be super versatile. So if you want like a super crisp black and white that has really crisp whites and deep blacks without being overly contrasty, black and white clean is where you're gonna go. Or if you want a little bit more of a moody vibe, kind of emulating some expired black and white film, black and white film is a fantastic LUT for that. So that's the Coastal LUT pack in a nutshell, and I will honestly say I am using these LUTs on all of my projects now, from YouTube videos like this one right here, to my wedding films, to my commercial and brand projects, and all of my personal stuff. These are absolutely my go-to LUTs and by far the easiest LUTs I have ever used. These LUTs are available for purchase today via my website, which I will link in the description below. They're gonna be priced at $39 US, but if you're watching this video within the first like 3 days of me posting it, I'm doing a launch weekend sale. So these LUTs go live on July 5th, and for the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be discounting the price of these LUTs from $39 down to $29 US. So if you're looking for some super clean, super versatile LUTs that should just work on a variety of different footage, please check out the Coastal LUT pack. It's a fantastic way to support my channel as well, and I really, really appreciate it. All right, that's it for now. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed these LUTs. If you do end up picking them up, DM me or let me know in the comments what you think of them. I would love to hear your feedback. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'd love to help you out. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.